Okay, so today we're going to look at parental participation, another principle that is an idea. So what's important really is that we know what constitutes a family, what constitutes, who constitutes someone who's legally responsible for the child. And so, if you can imagine over the years, the definition of family or parent has changed. And we have, included is natural born, of course, adoptive, foster care, families, any individual acting in the place of natural or adoptive, particularly those that are appointed as legal guardians. Um, so, an individual assigned under as a legal guardian may also be a surrogate parent as well. Um, Pennsylvania defines parent and essentially adopts the legal definition, um, and we have certainly um, more definition, more defining of parents in those regulations as well. Partners. Partners are also may also be caretakers, and both may also be legally responsible for the child. What does that mean? What's important to us working in schools is that we know who is legally responsible for the child, who has the role, who do we communicate with, who makes decisions, to whom are we accountable. So those are the important questions to make sure that are clarified when it's not um, when it's not as evident to us for the child. So we have, as we've already said, we have a long history of children, of parents of children being involved in special education, but we do have laws that have strengthened parental involvement, and some of these laws really have begun to look at parental accountability as well. So, for example, in the very first Education for All Handicapped Children Act, Public Law 94-142, that gave parents rights. But as we move into the Government Performance and Result Act, we're talking about family accountability and national education goals. We're talking about really promoting partnerships beyond the, parent-teacher associations such as bake sales and things like that, but really promoting parental accountability and partnership. So, the standards for parental involvement and PTA standards have evolved as well to make sure that we're communicating, that students are learning and parents are participating in that, to welcome volunteering at all levels, and to welcome in the school decision making and advocacy, and that there's collaboration with the community. So we're moved from the old paradigm of just bake sailing and booster clubs to this shared accountability and responsibility and mutual goals. So in one of the first, it was actually the second reauthorization of the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, because we had the law in 1975 and then we had the first reauthorization in 1990. But in 1997, really, we strengthened parental involvement, and we talked about really what are the parents' rights within the child's IEP. Including them on state and local advisory boards and improvement plans. We included parental counseling and training as part of the IEP, and really strengthened that. What do they need to support their child? And also, we've included parental monitoring, input during monitoring. So what are the implications then as we continue to reauthorize the law and we again look at more more clarification and additional work in the uh, 2004 reauthorizations of the law, reauthorization of the law, and we talk about the fact that parents need to have input when IEP team members that are working with the child, that when they're excused from IEP meetings, we have parental involvement in transition planning. We moved to a 3-year IEP, again, unless parents indicate that that is not acceptable for any reason. We moved to a one-time only distribution of procedural safeguards. Parents were being bombarded with paperwork. Many parents indicated that they could wallpaper a whole room with procedural safeguard notices. We had moved to a 2-year statute of limitations in due process for families. And manifestation determined, some of the burden of proof shifted to parents, and we've required parental consent for evaluations. And what's important here is evaluation of students also considered ward of states, and so we need either parents, natural parents, or if there's a legal guardian. And so that concludes the changes to the law in terms of parental